Hello everyone. My lighting is a bit bad. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Hi everyone. My name is Busisiswe Mahlangu. I am a poet from Mamelodi. I'm so happy to be spending the night with you today. So I'll be reading poems from different places. I'll be reading some of the poems will be the poems that are published in my book, my debut collection, Surviving Loss, and then other ones will be from the manuscript that I'm currently working on, which is titled A Body Makes Fire, and some of the poems will be from anthologies that I've sent my work to. I did not know what to actually start with tonight, but I just attended a tribute to that Don Matera about an hour ago. And Vangile Gancho, one of the poets who was honoring Don Matera, shared this poem. And I remembered how much I used to love this poem. So I'm gonna open with a poem titled Don Matera. A poem titled Remember by Don Matera. And it goes, remember to call at my grave when freedom finally walks the land, so that I may rise to thread familiar paths, to see broken chains, fallen prejudice, forgotten injury, pardoned pains. And when my eyes have filled their sight, do not run away for fright. If I crumble to dust again, it would only be the bliss for a long-awaited dreams that bids me rest when freedom finally walks the land. Yeah, that's it. That's the poem. So what I realized is that I'm very awkward in between the poems. So yeah, do not be surprised when you see me giggling nonstop. So this poem is titled Toothpicking. It's from my manuscript in progress, A Body Makes Fire. And this is how it goes. Inside my mouth, a toothache. The weight of decay makes me forget my tongue. Language hurts in spaces that silence makes. I swell and hold on to pain longer than lovers. Loneliness keeps me company. I am thankful the mouth is rotting, freeing me from the guilt of not saying the words that will make you stay. You do not know the ache of bed breath, or smelling the loss I did not stop to moan. I cannot clean the wound in my stomach. I sit at the dinner table crushing grief with my hands. Someone will know that I yearn for my screams to be heard. At home, we don't speak with our mouths full. Thank you. This next poem is titled Set Me Free. Here, sister, take my tongue and run to the light. Be careful of the blood. I had to break my voice free. My story will be carried by your feet. Where I end, you begin. Where you end, a small girl begins. Here, sister, take my eyes. They carry terror in them. Do not be afraid. These are warning shots of all the evil, a collection of sins performed against us. But I want you to know that beyond the torture, my dreams are burning the darkness. I wish you capture this light because it was made for your eyes. Here, sister, take my ears with you. They are a well of screams. They know all the waiting I've done to be seen. They are an ocean of songs sang in whispers. When you reach an open field, sing the song of your happiness with all the breath inside you. I will listen for your freedom, and I will know that somewhere the future is kind to us. The next poem that I'll be sharing, I'm gonna start with a very short poem and then connect it with the poem that won the National Poetry Prize, which is titled "I Wear Mother's Bones." My mother's mother has done the suffering for my mother. My mother has done the suffering for me. This is how I inherit a scar. I wear mother's bones. I fit mama's clothes when she goes to work. I fit into the dances she had in them, into the panic of walking the streets at night, into the making of a home that would not hold. Her favorite skirt is striped black and white, with the lines pointing to her feet like a whisper, saying she must run. Her favorite blouse is blue. She was beautiful in it before it became a mouth, swallowing her ugly along with her light. This one outfit, excused from scraping the floors and raising white children, saved for Sunday's gospel and prayers begging God for an answer. To look like mama is to look like sacrifice, only a corner in the room, while Baba fills the whole house with himself. The mirror says I am drowning in a skirt. I twirl in amazement. But mama's life is so beautiful, I can die in it. If dad could tell me what made her laugh, made her happy with less, what made her stay when she could run, made her wear a blouse to watch herself drown. I want to tweak the sides with a needle and thread, but she will know that I wear her life when she goes. Okay. Please do let me know if I'm taking up too much time.
Not at all.
This, huh?
No, you're not taking it too much time at all.
Oh, okay, thank you. This next poem is titled "My Body Spells Happy Different." I wanted to write a love letter to my body and to remind myself that this is my home and I need to take care of it. I need to be gentle with it. So this is how it goes. 1, how many mouths can you trust with your name? How many hands can you trust with your body? 2, I remember you shrunk, crumbling when words became stones. They hit your knocked knees and stopped the kissing. You learned to walk while falling apart. 3, you make a wish on your face. You pop a zit. You scar yourself to measure the time healing takes. After years of scratching pimples, you know that calling your skin ugly will not make it go away. 4, the advert on the TV said, "Give us your scars, we will hide them." You tucked your cellulite into your jeans, wrapped a scarf around your chest. You went to the shop and bought bio oil under disguise. 5,
7:52.
there's always someone suggesting a way to fix yourself. There's a way to make tummy rolls roll off you. There's a way to bend the bulge under your arm. There's a way to cut your hips. There's a bra that can hold your breast to your chin. There's a way to exit your body. 6, you can start running from all the mouths that want to swallow your body like a fault. You can start running from yourself when you're holding a spade to collapse the fault. Remember that you own one body. This is not a suggestion. 7, how many parts of you do you let your mouth speak? How many parts of you do you let your hands hold? Okay. I'm gonna share a one-line poem Doesn't have a title, so it just goes. It just goes. Fixing a boy makes me forget that I am broken. Hmm? Okay. Can you can hear me, right? And then another short poem, which is titled Solitude. It goes, you make your friends ghosts. They haunt you with the silence you taught them. Short poem. What is a sin? What is a sin? I want to tell Mama what they've done to me at church, but I fear hell, so I do not speak. So this next poem that I'll be sharing is published in this anthology titled While Imperfections. This came out last year. It's a collection of poems by women poets from all over the world. And yeah, so I'll be reading one of my poems that are published in this anthology, which I feel this poem is a follow-up to the tiny poem I just read, What is a Sin? This poem is titled Girl is Prayer. This is how it goes. They say to the girl, your body is a temple. Girl transforms her body into a temple. They say the Holy Spirit lives in you. Girl holds up the door and lets the Spirit in. They tell her you're not your own. Girl throws herself on the ground and begs them to accept her flesh as sacrifice. Temple is church. Church is body. Body is blood. Holy communion. When they break into the church, split the body open and drink the blood, girl is asked, when did she stop being a temple? She counts the time she believed less and cuts a line into her skin. She sees the blood and wonders where the Holy Spirit was when they ripped her bones apart. A building collapses to its feet. The bomb looks like priests in their perfect wear. It sounds like a sermon forced into an unbeliever. It looks like the Bible pages next to starving children. But what is said about priests turning small girls into temples they can break into is that everyone should be forgiven. Girl swallows her wound and forgives. I'm gonna read Process. I think this will be a better follow-up poem after that one.
Right.
You are collecting yourself from old things that are fading, age behind dust. You are looking for yourself in all the roads you built with your feet. Some paths are already there. Some you shaped with your hands and the thorns remained as a reminder. Some of your footprints are filled with mud. You cannot see them without breaking your back. You are tired. Tired feels like slowly wilting. Tired means rest your bones for now. In your rest, you begin to count all the things you lost to the mud. The spoon you used to eat gravy, the straps of your bra, your ninth finger, someone, everyone, yourself. You count loss until you're ash. You cry. Ash becomes wet. You fold into a ball and learn to survive alone. Someone pushed you, drove you to this place. Your footprints are not on the ground. Your body is under your bed. You are learning sleep again. On the 10th day, you're still teaching your eyes how to close. Stay there. Heal. Go outside. Heal. Don't move. Heal. Do what healing calls you to do. Sometimes it won't call you to do anything. Yeah. I don't know where to go. Let me check my list. I don't know what to share. Let me check my tiny lists. Okay. I'm gonna share one of my newer poems. This is titled Undoing a River. I begin each morning stretching out my arms, counting parts of me that escaped the night. My body in salt water, but nothing can heal it. I lay my body on the floor and start its fixing. I pull it out of the water. I dig it out of a wound. It bleeds out on the mat, and I say, it's not your fault that the pain swallows you. Every morning I check my body for intruders. I dig into the sores and make my body a difficult place to live in. All this medicine made my body strange. All the prayers made it sink. My body belongs to anyone trying to save it. My mama and her church, so I let them have it with their prayers and salt water. But my body makes love when it belongs to me. I know a body makes love even when it is sick. The undoing of a river is a waterfall. A body makes love. This is not so long. This next poem is titled To Water. I'm drying out on a sidewalk, a paddle mapping out an end. Disappearing is a slow journey. I envy bad water that chooses drought in the face of a flower. Father, teach me how to be vapor, to walk out without leaving my name, hanging inside a mouth, waiting for my return. Yeah, as I'm reading this, I'm actually remembering one of the poems in Surviving Loss. I don't usually share this poem when I'm on stage. So I was thinking that it will be a good poem to share, especially after reading To Water. I'm trying to find it. Just a moment. Okay, yeah, found it. Questions. I don't know why I'm not. Yeah, I thought I found it, but I haven't. Maybe it's not in this book. Maybe that's why I don't share it. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. I actually couldn't accept the fact that I can't find it, so I kept looking. And I did find it. I had just forgotten what the title is, and it's titled Investigations. So it goes, did your father die or did he leave? Did your father call you by name or not call at all? Did your father become the wind? Yeah. So at least tonight I have the relief that the poem is indeed in the book, because I think I would have spent the whole night trying to remember why isn't this poem published in the book. So I'm gonna share This Is Yours. This is how you return to yourself. This is the sound. This is the blast. Take the silence no one hears. This is how you return to yourself. This is your reflection on the glass. These are parts that broke but are still here. This is the collapse and the rebuilding. This is a tasteless resurrection. This is how you make home with your body, how you return to yourself. This is how you fit into happiness. This is the gap for your escape. This is you being carried by wind, how you hold your lungs to the air. This is how you breathe through every wound. This is how you hold yourself. This is you here. This is you breathing. This is you healing. This is how your soul tells you you are doing well. You are doing well. So I'm gonna share my second last piece and then close with, yeah. Thank you so much for listening. So this is one of my favorite poems because it's one of my very, very early work. It's titled Houses. I haven't performed it in so long. So I'm so excited to share it today. When the police come to arrest him, tell them to put handcuffs on the door. This house is a culprit, watching us bleed without moving. The last time he turned beast, the walls collapsed our screams into a song, and the neighbors danced to a sharp melody. This house will watch us get killed and say nothing. The walls wear our blood like paint. Our DNA washes off into color. It is a battle with only one boxing champion. Constantly, we break through kitchen tiles. We slowly rise to our knees. We are learning prayer with the ceiling, slapping our words back into our tongues as if to say that what we are asking is a distant kind of heaven that we will never reach, where men don't molest women, where houses are not ghosts, where fathers love their daughters, where fathers love their daughters, where fathers love. This house will watch us get killed. The floor will swallow our skeletons. This house is a graveyard. Dry bones pull us back when we walk. Our suitcases decay before we can pack our bags and leave. There's a memorial service in each room. Old obituaries hang like curtains, windows open to wave life goodbye. Those who came before us never touched victory, and those who came before us were us. We've touched death every evening. We've bled out eulogies and goodbyes, but today the police are coming. And if we are dead when they get here, just tell them to put handcuffs on the door. This house is a culprit, watching us bleed without moving. This is my last poem that I'm sharing. It's titled Lost Shelves. was just checking the network to make sure we're still connected. So this is titled Lost Shells. The pages are missing inside my grandmother, torn and wet, memory washed away. There are stories she keeps on her fingertips, tucking them in under her nails each night. Her name falls off her tongue when she speaks. Another page snatched out of her book. Her back is a spine curling into a rainbow. The only reminder she has that the freedom promised came, although it forgot all the Black people. My grandmother forgot. She's a book without language. She's history cleaned off the flaws. She holds an empty page. Her life is a page. Her life is a book without language. She is history cleaned off the flaws. She holds an empty page. Her life is a blank on a sheet, is a pause, is a quiet between the wind. Her husband reminds her of their wedding day, playing the moment back with a song. She remembers the bells and the ginger beer, but not his name, not his face. She only knows his voice. It belongs to a man who once touched her bones and moved to their breaking. So we fill the house with the past. We condense 70 years inside a phoned house. We are holding grandmother's face close to her eyes. We watch her turn from paper to tree, and all that she lost is just leaves, and this is autumn. Have you ever seen an empty library breathe, moving the air around it to survive? Have you ever seen a book that can't be read, a line you cannot color into? Have you ever seen dementia in a body? Ever lived a life you cannot point at? Between the shelves in the library, I hold the books that know the place my grandmother sunk into. Every line I read is the language she lost, and the language lost is replaced with terms and symptoms that bend better in English. Alzheimer's is writing a new book with her body without her voice. She is holding the air like that. Like one day her body will disappear like her mind did. She's moving her hands like this, fishing out the confusion in the air. She's enveloping her words in steel, engraving herself somewhere. Grandmother, watching pages of her diary float off her body. Grandma, there is still a book that has your name clear on the cover. I am a book that will never forget you. I will never forget you. Thank you so much for listening. That is my set.
Thank you. That was really cool. Very, very powerful. Amazing.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope the internet did not interrupt the reading.
Not at all. No,
I'm
you
so
were
glad.
perfect.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing poets and writers read on the open mic. Yeah.
Are you open to discussion or questions if anyone?
Oh, okay. Yeah, if there are questions, I'm
Can
open.
we give a hand first? Can we?
Yes.
Oh.
People, if you want to unmute
Thank you.
yourselves and clap so that Busi can hear you, please do.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right. So is there anybody who's got a question or a comment or anything like that on the reading, the poems, anything you're wondering? I can start us off, and maybe you want to share, you know, social media or anything like that. You can pop in the chat if you want people to find you. You mentioned that you're working on a new book. Is that like in the not too distant future that you're hoping to have something out, or is that still in process?
So the manuscript is almost complete. I'm just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But the main reason why I really wanted to complete it is so that it can stay in my laptop and I can write other things. Because it's really been bothering me every time I try to write something. I'm like, you still have a manuscript that's not done. So I haven't really made concrete plans around its publications and things like that. I just wanted to do my part as a writer, to write it and complete it. I have like a bit of an obsession now with fiction, so I wanted to get the poetry out of the way so I can experiment and try to find my style and play around with fiction. So yeah, I'm just excited to complete it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's exciting to hear that you're going to try some other forms of writing too. That's really cool. Jacques has a hand up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Busisizwe, thank you. I loved your reading. I loved all the poems.
Thank you.
And then there was this one poem that always, when I read it, and now even more when you hear it, completely undoes me, and that is "This Is Yours." And wondered if that poem is magic, because you read it and it's like a spell, it's like a ritual. I hear it and my body wants to move. It really does something. Do you want to say, do you understand something about how that works? Or is it just something that arrived for you like that, because it's a wonderful poem. Anything you'd like to say about it would be wonderful.
Thank you. I'm trying to find it. Wow. Yeah, even as you're saying that, like I'm just getting goosebumps.
Yeah, me too.
So the poem, I think it does work as a spell. I've never actually used those words to explain it, but as you said, I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Or ritual, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
performs something.
Yeah, because I wanted to sort of like, because I always thought of like, before I used to think of like unraveling as something that is bad. But then I wanted to sort of soothe myself, say, even when you're unraveling, this is still you returning to yourself. This is you finding yourself. This is still you growing into who you are, into your experiences, and so for me, the poem also works as an affirmation that even when you feel like you're becoming undone, there are still things that are coming together. There's still things that are coming into place. So yeah, I think I also really love the rhythm of it. I find it comforting.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Anybody else who'd like to add anything or ask anything? You can just unmute yourself if you want to, or put a question in the chat if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Francis asking, where can I find you? Brucey's going to put some info there in the chat for us, I think.
Yeah, I'm typing.
Awesome. So we've got all the social medias there in the chat. There's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So you can go and follow everything happening in fiction and poetry in the future. I'm curious, another question since no one else is piping up. What got you into poetry in the first place? Or, you know, like, was there someone that drew you into it? Or how did you get started writing this as your form?
So I used to write here and there some poems in primary, even performed at the assembly one time when I was in grade 6. But I don't think I really understood what I was doing. I was just mimicking. Yeah, I was not really writing, but I was mimicking poetry in a way. And then when I got into high school, there was a teacher who decided to start afternoon poetry sessions every week. I joined in, and when I got there, they were really writing. They were not mimicking. They were really writing, and I was like, I remember I used to do poetry in primary. Let me try my hand at it. And yeah, I feel like since then, I sort of had an understanding of writing. I stopped just trying to like copy, because in primary, what I'll do, I'll find poetry in magazines. There were like these soul buddies, and I don't remember the other one. And then I would just try to, if the poem is about this particular theme, maybe I'll write a poem in a similar theme with the similar style and the lines. But I think that's how I did most of the learning, even though I call it, like I say I was mimicking, because then I had to read more and mimic more poems to figure out what I was doing. But yeah, I think high school was the moment for me.
Awesome.
Do you write in another language as well, or translate your? I do write in isiZulu. I do write in isiZulu as well. So I'm doing my degree in creative writing. I major in African languages and linguistics. So I had to do a lot of creative writing in isiZulu for my degree. So once I started writing, and I was like, actually, this is not as hard as I thought, because my first experience with poetry was through English. So I always considered that to be the entry point, like to be the point of departure. I have to write in English if I want to write poetry. So throughout my degree, I had to learn to write creatively in isiZulu. And yeah, so I do write in isiZulu. I do perform in isiZulu as well.
Thank you for that question. And yeah, really, I think, mimicking is such a great way to learn, actually. I mean, I think we all go through that phase. So as you said, it forces you to read and then practice that style, and you become your own, you eventually find your own voice through that. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else who'd like to add anything or ask anything? Larry.
Yeah, I didn't want to so much ask as just say how fabulous it is. I'm you know, a million miles away, and got up in the cold, and And what a privilege, Busiswe, to hear you read such fabulous poems and read it as you did. A real wonderful. I did. Yeah, I won't say anything more. But thank you very much. What a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larry. I really appreciate that. Thank you for listening and for the kind words.
Anybody else? Looks like not. So then I'm going to say we wrap up this section and we're going to have a few minute break, and then we'll meet again at like 8:30 to do open mic, and anyone who wants to share their own stuff is welcome to. Thank you. Thank you so much for reading. I'm really glad your internet played along, and
Yeah, me too.
privilege of hearing you. It's been really amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone who wants to hang around for the next open mic section, you can grab a drink or go to the loo or find your poems, and we'll be back here just now.